This is a 5-Minute Business Builder with Rick Howe, where your business comes first on News 95.7.
12:22, and from time to time, we invite members of the business community to join me in the studio. And back with us this afternoon is Senior Mortgage Advisor Clinton Wilkins. Hi, Clinton.
Thanks for having me today, Rick.
Well, thank you for coming back with us here this afternoon. And today we're going to talk about mortgage rates, fixed versus variable. What's the difference, and what's best if I'm if I'm a new home buyer, for example, does it make a difference? Or if I'm a veteran home buyer, does that make a difference as well?
Well, I think historically people do better in a variable rate. But right now we're in a little bit of an odd time, just like the weather is outside today. Normally variable is lower. Right now, though, the fixed rates are lower than the variable. And we've seen a little bit of a shift in the marketplace because the prime rate has still stayed the same over the last few meetings with the Bank of Canada. But the fixed rates have been going down because of the bond yield. So right now you can get a really good fixed rate in the mid-2s, so like 2.59, 2.69, 2.79 in terms of a fixed rate.
How about, what's that compared to a variable?
Variable, I would say some of the best variable rates are about 3%.
Really?
Yeah, so normally the variable's always lower and fixed is higher, as you can imagine. You have to take on some risk, obviously, if you're taking a variable rate.
So why does it flip around like that?
Well, they move completely independently of each other. The variable rate is tied to the Bank of Canada overnight rate, which turns into the the bank's prime rate, and then they offer a discount on prime. But right now, with the way that the fixed rates have moved, they move with the bond yields, and they've really driven those fixed rate pricing down. So we're a little bit in an odd time.
So what's your recommendation then? If I'm buying a home here, do I go right now with a fixed rate, or do I try the variable, knowing that some point down the road one or the other is going to make a change here?
Historically, people do better in the variable, but you need to have the stomach to say, yes, I'm willing to pay more today with the future hope that it's going to be cheaper down the road. The Bank of Canada is meeting at the end of the month, so we'll have some news then.
Yeah.
And the economists are projecting that we could potentially see a couple decreases in the prime rate into 2020.
So how would that impact both the variable and the fixed rate?
It won't impact fixed because they move independently, but it would impact the people in a variable rate mortgage. The mortgage will become cheaper when the prime rate goes down. One of the big pros with a variable is if you don't know you're going to live through your term, if you might break the term early, having a variable makes a lot of sense for consumers because you're guaranteed that you're only going to have a penalty of 3 months interest to get out.
Yeah.
The other really great pro with the variable is you can always lock it into a fixed rate and there's no cost. So there are some pros to the variable that you don't have with a fixed, but if you really want to know what your payment's going to be every month and you want to have the stability and you may lose sleep at night, I think fixed is great. It's not for everyone, but, for a certain percentage of consumers, the fixed rate is right.
But if you're a bit of a gambling person, it might be wise to go the variable.
If you're gambling, I think you hypothetically will do better in the variable. Today, it's more expensive, but I think over time it will be probably at least at the same or cheaper than the fixed. And there are some pros. So I think everybody's situation is a little bit different. Yeah. And I think coming to an unbiased mortgage professional like me, we can look at your situation and make a recommendation that would make the most sense. And no matter if you're buying a home or renewing or refinancing, there's rate options. So, sometimes fixed is good for some people and sometimes variable is good for other people. And I think that just looking at your scenario individually makes a lot of sense.
Because right now, today, here as we speak, the housing market in this HRM of ours is hot, hot, hot.
It's so hot. And I think just before we went on the air, I was just telling Rick that we had a client that bought a home in the North End, and the property went for $100,000 over the listing price.
Wow.
What do we think this is? Toronto? I don't know. Maybe it is. There's no other place that I would rather live and do business than in Halifax. I think we're seeing a lot of positive migration. And but we think, and the economists are saying, that in Halifax, our population is going to grow by 20% over the next 5 years. We don't have the housing stock to support that. So there's only one place for these prices to go.
That's up.
And that's up. And there's not a lot of inventory on the market, and it's moving very quickly. And, people are asking me all the time, should I wait for it to become more of a buyer's market?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's ever going to happen because I think we're in a supply issue now that it's just going to keep on driving the prices up. Do I ever think that it's going to be Toronto or Vancouver pricing? No.
No, but
because we've had very slow growth. We've had 1%, 2%, 3% growth, but we've never had a boom here in Halifax. But we haven't had a bust either. There's lots of areas that, the prices go up and they go down, like Newfoundland is really hurting. Alberta, let's not even get into that. We've had a very stable market here, and it's a very safe bet on real estate. But, we are ready for, I think, a boom. And I think that we could potentially see some double-digit growths in terms of price. And I think it's an act now or maybe potentially act never situation in Halifax.
You'll be on with Todd this weekend, will you?
I'll be on with Todd at 10 a.m. on Saturday, and we're going to, take calls live on the air. So if you have any questions about fixed rates or variable rates, or you want to talk about the market, certainly tune in, and we'd love to, have your calls.
All right.
It's all about, hopefully we're giving lots of great information, and we love helping people. So.
All right, and I appreciate it. Appreciate you joining us here again this afternoon. Thank you, Clinton.
Thanks for having me, Rick.
That is Clinton Wilkins.
The News 95.7 5-Minute Business Builder with Rick Howe, where success matters.